What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at this all new 2023 Nissan Ariya. This one is the Empower Plus front wheel drive, finished off in deep ocean blue. MSRP as tested is around $59,000. Let's go ahead and see what is going to power Nissan's newest fully electric crossover. So we pop the hood, open up the latch. So underneath here you're going to find a 178 kilowatt hour motor with an 87 kilowatt hour battery. There are several drivetrains to choose from. This one's kind of middle of the road, pumping out 238 horsepower with 221 pound-feet of torque, and the cruising range is around 289 miles. You can get one with well over 400 horsepower as well if you really want to crank it up. So taking a look at the styling, this is actually really cool looking. I like it a lot in person, much better than in photos. But we get these super cool LED headlights with these massive daytime running lights. They look really good at night. And of course, when you hit the lock or unlock button, you can see how everything lights up. And the Nissan badge even lights up as well, which is a really neat touch. Now this whole front section is kind of like a clear plastic with texture material behind it, which definitely looks pretty good. And then you can see these functional inlets on the side to allow air to cut through and pass out around these front tires. Got parking sensors, LED fog lights, and then a lot of gloss black trim down below with an opening to allow cooling into some of the electronics. Overall, it definitely has a pretty cool looking front end appearance, and I like just how smooth everything is. It's all really seamless. One subtle body line on the hood fading towards that windshield, and then as we make our way to the side profile, this has an upgraded set of 19-inch wheels, finished off in gloss black, have a pretty neat 5-spoke design, and then all that gloss black goes around the fenders, the side skirts, into the rear. Kind of gives it a mini wide body look, given that they stick out a couple inches. We have our charge port on the side. You can see some smooth body lines throughout the side profile, and then a prominent one right here. Of course, body colored door handles, gloss black for the mirror caps, and then all gloss black for the roof and surrounding these windows. Get a nice silver trim piece, panoramic roof up top, and I really like the side profile. Once again, it's kind of a stubby, shorter, compact looking vehicle, but I think that really does give it a more sporty look. As we make our way in back, everything really slopes downwards into that rear end with an integrated spoiler. You can see the third brake light up there. I love how everything just cascades down towards the trunk. We get Nissan written out with an LED bar connecting the two taillights. Once again, just super fluid the way everything is designed. All of your badging on the back with the Empower Plus and Ariya, and then a really large gloss black rear diffuser with, of course, all of your parking sensors. So overall, pretty neatly styled car. Onto the cargo area, if you just hold down the button, there is one underneath the name Nissan. Power liftgate's gonna open up. We can check out all the cargo area. Really large in here with a nice flat load floor, cubbies on each side, and in the center you can lift these up and remove them and give you extra interior space. And then the privacy cover as well. You can easily pop this off and get it out of the way, and it kind of reveals even more space. And from the back here, you can even pull these handles and really easily get these seats out of the way to really maximize all the cargo volume. Up on top, we have a lock button, as well as, of course, the close button. And then entering through the side back here, you can see how the seats are gonna fold down nice and flat, really giving you a ton of space into that rear end. You can easily lift it up. Center seat will fold down, of course. You get a nice armrest with some cup holders. Pretty easy to maneuver all the seats. And then back here, you're gonna see a really cool design for the backs of these seats. You do have heated seat controls along with USBs and air vents. And then if I go ahead and hop inside, at 5'11", I actually have a lot of room. I have the driver's seat on my height, plenty of headroom as well, and pretty large windows to make it feel pretty open here with nice armrests. Now if I go ahead and open up the door, let's hop back into the driver's seat now, see what the driver gets. Of course, you have the remote access with the keyless entry and all that. On the interior, you're going to see this really nice light color material with black contrast, padding on your armrest, good size grab handle, and then all of your window, mirror, lock, and unlock controls. We get a release handle with memory seating, a lot of storage, and then Ariya is written out on the door sill. And then these seats are all power controlled with a cool synthetic leather material, and the centers are kind of a micro suede. So pretty nice in here. I like the stitching, the cool design for the headrest. We get a dual spoke steering wheel with black leather, bronze stitching, and a nice stripe on the bottom side. And then if I go ahead and hop inside, just gotta put your foot on the brake, and we'll hold down the button. Everything turns on with pretty cool animations. And then once you're in here, you got a lot of normal Nissan stuff that you should be pretty familiar with. If we take a look at the center screen, you can scroll through a few different things up here. Then you can also go left and right, see all sorts of different information, audio information, you can see more. You can scroll up and down in quite a few of the menus to see even more. And then if I toggle this icon right here and go into the change meter, it'll give you a little bit more traditional screen, which of course you can then continue scrolling left and right through and see all that same information. Also along the steering wheel, we get volume on the left, track tuning, then cruise control settings on the right, stock on the right side for windshield wipers, and then headlights on the left side. More headlight controls down here along with the tailgate release, charge timer, steering intervention, and then more of this cool like wood trim with the bronze. There's heads-up display. You can see the huge curved screen, the way it's designed. More of this material, and then this bronze. Now this is like a plastic material, looks like wood. However, you are going to see buttons on here. You just kind of press them with a little bit of firmness, and it's going to change a few settings for climate. Now right in the center, we have our volume along with on-off, a track next button, and then the screen right here is configurable with all sorts of different information that's going to come up. Pretty easy to use. We have more information on all of these shortcuts on the left side. Full screen navigation, of course, and then you have your Sirius, and I like how this track next button is integrated into that trim piece. We also have climate controls that are going to pop up. Pretty simple to use everything, of course. You can kind of get an understanding of how these buttons are going to work along with using just the touchscreen right here. So underneath all of that, you're going to notice a lot of footroom in here, which is really cool. However, we have a button right here, and once again, everything's flat. So you just kind of press on the screen, and that's going to pop open now. You can use this as a tray, maybe put a lunchbox, maybe a laptop on it. Get that out of the way, and it reveals even more storage. So pretty cool design. Just a nice little hidden cargo area. You're also going to see a little bit of storage down below. And then in the center now, you can press this and get this all the way up or way even far back, almost touching the back seats if you want this just out of your way, or if you're taller and your seats can be farther back and you need that armrest much closer to you. Now we have our drive select right here, nice little area here with a cup holders underneath it. We also have the E step. If you toggle this, it'll do like a one pedal driving, where when you take your foot off the throttle, it will basically apply the brakes and do some regeneration. You can get a better look at the storage. And then in the center here, we have wireless charging along with a little bit more storage space. More of this leather material across this whole center. And then over here, the glove box is pretty typical. One last look at the interior. Actually a really nice place to be. Pretty cool use of materials. Get that full panoramic sunroof with a sunshade. Those controls are right here. We have LED dome lights. You can also open that up for your sunglasses. And then we have an LCD screen with a camera for your rear view, of course, and a traditional. With that said, we also have drive modes that you can toggle. So let's go ahead, put this car into sport mode and go for a spin. All right, so we are setting off now in the Nissan Ariya. In normal mode, just giving it some throttle, gets up to speed pretty decently. And then of course, if we toggle up into sport mode, a little bit more power. Like I mentioned, this isn't the most powerful version. You can get the top of the line one with all-wheel drive, which honestly really isn't much different in price. Pretty much can get it for low 60s versus this one being high 50s. But as far as normal driving, we'll just toggle it down a little bit back into eco mode. It's a pretty comfortable place to be. You have a huge windshield, really good visibility, mirrors all do a great job, and of course having the camera mirror in the center there, that is a really nice touch. Over your right and left shoulder, pretty good view, really no crazy blind spots. I'd say way in the back, that is a big large piece of plastic where the D pillar I guess would be. So a little bulky back there, but really nothing too crazy. Now the E step, when you toggle this on and off, when you're not using it, you know, the braking, when you let off the throttle, you can coast pretty well. I will say, it seems like the brake pedal press is pretty vague. You have to press your foot maybe halfway down for it to start doing something. And that almost looked like an Ariya. I think that was a Nissan Leaf or something. Anyway, the brake pedal feels a little vague, I would say, so I wouldn't mind that being better. But when you go into the E step now, whenever I do hit the brake, it does feel a little bit better. But braking, I don't know, it could be a little bit more performance focused, I guess, just a little bit more touchy. In sport mode, doesn't really make any sort of difference. But as far as normal driving goes, you know, the seats, they're pretty nice and comfortable. Armrests are in a great place in the center. The left one I do feel is a little low for me, and I have the seat as low as it goes. So my arm is kind of like weighted down to be on the armrest. So again, I wouldn't mind that being a little different. But aside from those kind of minor nitpicky things, seems pretty comfortable. It does take some getting used to these buttons right here. It's basically you're just pressing on the hard plastic. So it's kind of weird on your finger joints to press that because it doesn't really press in like a standard button. So it just takes a little bit getting used to having to hold down on something that doesn't really have much give in order for it to operate. So that's definitely gonna be something to get used to. It does look pretty cool though. I think it's a nice way to really clean up the interior to where there's really like no buttons on the interior. So the interior is pretty simple to use. It really doesn't take a learning curve or anything like that. I think the things you touch are nice enough. You know, it's got some cool materials to it. And the ride quality feels really nice as well. Of course, with the cruise control, this is their new system. It seems to be a lot better than the previous one. And when you're on a road with better lanes, of course, it'll do the steering intervention and everything. And it seems to be much more connected than the previous generation system. So I like the cruise control, you know, the adaptive pacing and everything works well. Lane keeping and steering intervention keeps you in the lane without just like hitting the brakes whenever you hit a line, which kind of is annoying on the previous generation stuff. So it seems like it has all the technology you're gonna want and a really good riding platform to where you're kind of in comfort in here. You can get the seat in a good position and it just feels like a good place to be. It doesn't feel like it's too overpriced or anything. You know, when you look at EVs, a crossover like this for almost 60 grand, this is kind of what they go for. And this one's very nicely equipped. So it feels like a car that, you know, it's the price I would expect it to be. And even though this isn't the most powerful version, you know, it could have more power. I mean, still, that was 40 to 65 pretty darn quickly. So it still is a really good powertrain for the average driver, and I like how there are several to choose from to really get one that's crazy fast, or get one that is adequate and just pretty good on range and pretty normal to drive.